Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Aqua, mate. Yes, there's a blue light behind me. Why is there a blue light behind me? I may have done a thing. Hey!
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
And to help me out with the thing that I just did is Sam Parker. He's coming all the way. Oh, he's here. He's here now. Thanks for coming, Sam. Sam's going to take us through some of the tips and make sure that me dipping my toe into the saltwater world, that I don't get eaten by a shark.
Smile, you son of a bitch!
So, Sam, how are you today?
Very good, thanks Josh. Thanks for having me here, man.
No, thank you very much for driving all the way over here.
Pleasure.
As you can all see, Sam's sitting in front of a saltwater tank, and we're at my house. That makes that tank mine.
This is something I know a little bit about. All of these other ones without salt, I got no idea about.
That's why Sam came up today. I've been speaking to him on and off for a couple of weeks saying, I think I might pick up a saltwater tank. I haven't shared that with anyone yet.
He's been too ashamed. He's slipping into the dark side. He told me before he's shutting all these freshmen. Nah, I'm joking.
Spoiler, I was just like, maybe, no.
I'm not shutting them down.
Look, a saltwater tank is a bit different to a freshwater tank, and Sam's come up to make sure that I'm doing things correctly. He's given me a couple gifts, which is really cool. I'll go over that with you guys. But I thought this is a good opportunity to ask Sam five beginner tips for your first saltwater tank. So what is the number one most important thing you would like to share with us and say, this is the first thing you should think about when you want a saltwater tank?
Yeah, cool. 5 things. I didn't pre-think of 5, but it's probably the best way to go. Shoot from the hip, and we'll get 5 straight off the bat. So
I can edit.
no. I love rolling. I do my best work when I haven't thought about it because I overthink things. Number 1, stability is key.
Yep.
And the best way to get stability is to not put too much shit in your tank.
Yep. Fair enough.
Anything, don't put anything in your tank. That's the best way to get stability. Now, stability, when I'm talking stability, I'm talking everything. I'm talking the salinity, so the amount of salt in the water is ultra critical.
Yep.
The temperature is also fairly critical with salt water. The more you keep them consistent, the more success you're going to have. Saltwater tanks are a little bit funny in that water evaporates, salt does not. So your salinity is constantly changing in the fact that every second we're sitting here, the fresh water is evaporating and the salt stays in there. So every second this tank gets a little bit more saltier and saltier.
Yep.
Which is fine on a hourly or even daily, possibly maybe even up to weekly basis. But you then need to top that back up with fresh water, not salt water, so that it brings the salt level back to where it should be.
Yep.
Salinity is a thing that I find can be a bit of a stumbling block for people, particularly coming from freshwater, because it's an element you've not really dealt with before. I know you do have some sort of, you've got brackish and you've also got some other ones that have, like cichlids have some sort of salt. I look like a total noob now because I got no idea about freshwater stuff. But salinity is the parameter in saltwater tanks. I mean, it's called saltwater for a reason.
No, perfect. So keeping it stable, tip number 1. Tip number 2.
Tip number 2, and this will apply to freshwater as well, but I mean, it happens with saltwater tanks all the time, is don't overfeed them.
Yes.
Do not overfeed them. Every time when you get fish in here, every time you come to the tank, they'll come up to the glass and look like they're starving.
Yes.
Don't be tricked into feeding them. They take very little food. They're not big fish. You're talking about potentially getting a couple of chromis or clownfish.
Yep.
They're like this big. One pallet will sustain them from a couple of days.
And even though they want to eat 20
They'll want to eat,
yes.
if you've got really small baby fish, or if they're a little bit thin or whatever, you might feed them a little bit more to fatten them up. But realistically, you're going to do more harm than good if you overfeed them, because you're just going to pollute the water and then they're going to be suffocated from the polluted water. So try to hold firm on the feeding. Whatever they eat in the first few seconds is really all they're going to need for a day, even up to 2 days.
Yep. We were just talking about before, I was showing Sam some of the foods that I have, and they are compatible with saltwater fish too. So that's one handy thing that I thought, all right, what wormhole am I going down on this one? But that's perfect. So we've got stability, we've got don't overfeed, which is again another element of stability, keeping the tank clean.
Absolutely.
What would tip number 3 be?
Tip number 3, when in doubt, water change.
Yep.
We were talking before about, whilst we've been sitting here recording, the number of messages I've got from people saying, oh, what should I do about this fish or this coral, or my tank's looking like this today, and pretty much every one of them I've said do a water change.
Yep.
Because you kind of can't do it wrong. If you're adding chemicals to the tank, if you're adding some sort of potion or band-aid to it, you can get it wrong. You can overdose, you can be treating something that doesn't exist in the tank, whatever it is. If you do a water change, you're always going back to a known base quantity, whether it's natural salt water or an artificial salt water, assuming your water's fine, which it should always be. We need to get that right. You can't go wrong doing a water change.
Yep.
If you get the temperature somewhere near where it needs to be before you do a huge water change, so you don't shock things too much, coming back to tip 1 about stability.
Yep.
You can't go wrong with a water change. If things go drastically wrong, you might be tempted into doing like a huge, like 100% water change or an 80% water change. That will start to be a little bit of contradiction into that stability one. You'd be better off doing 3 or 4 20% water changes over 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
Just to keep the consistency in there, but still turn that water over.
Exactly. It's a lot of this is very, very similar to freshwater as well. So me trying this for the first time, it's sort of comforting going, all right, I know those bits, so I feel a bit more comfortable. Tip number 4.
Tip number 4. It's a funny one. We were just doing some water tests before, and I brought it up then. Don't go chasing numbers.
Yeah.
You will be overwhelmed with people giving you advice of where your alkalinity level should be and how much calcium you should have, and if you want to get more red out of your corals, elevate boron and do this, and your pH should be that, and if it's not, you should add this chemical and do this or whatever. Don't chase numbers.
Yeah.
The second you start chasing numbers, numbers are fine. I'm a data analyst, right? I love numbers. I live and breathe numbers, but not at the cost of what your eyes see. And I'm colourblind. My eyes aren't great and my number game's pretty strong. But trust your eyes. Look at the tank. If things look fine, don't overreact to an odd number.
Yep.
Our test kits are hobbyist grade, right? They're not the most accurate thing under the sun. And we're human. We make mistakes doing tests sometimes. So you might do a test result that says that something's way out of the ballpark. Don't overreact to it. Take a deep breath. Have a look at the tank. If the tank looks fine, it's good. Give it another day. Put the test kit away. Wait till tomorrow. Do another test. See if you get the same result. If you get the same result, take the water to your fish shop. See if they get the same result. Test kits go off.
Yep.
If you're really concerned, go back to our other rule. Do a water change. But don't overreact to numbers.
I like that too. I'm a big believer in that as well. With a lot of the freshwater tanks that I use, you can use, if you need a certain number for a certain type of fish, find a natural way to keep it in your tank rather than trying to dose it every time you change some things. It's going to mess with, tip number 1, the stability.
Exactly.
What's tip number 5?
Oh, tip number 5, I've been racking my brains while we've been talking about the other 4, of trying to narrow it down to 5. I think probably one of the best ones we're talking 5 for beginners to saltwater. This one's going to be a little bit tricky, but it's a valid one, and that's to try and keep your hands out of the tank. I know it's super exciting. You get this new tank and you got a new coral and you want to put the coral in this position, and then the rock moves a little bit, so you want to move it around again. The less times you put your hands in the tank, the better. Not only you've got the obvious things with like pollutants or stuff on your hands, or that you're eating oils on your hands and all that, but Corals are sensitive little buggers. I mean, when I say that, they can adapt to all sorts of things, but it comes back to that. In there, you're shading them from the light, you're blocking the flow or changing the flow, you're changing the temperature, you're adding extra elements, oils, things. It can take them, I mean, we're talking about how quickly zoas as a coral grow, and I say that if you can go basically 30 days without disrupting things much, you'll start getting 1 or 2 extra polyps. As quickly as a week, you'll get an extra polyp or 2 after 30 days. But any time in that 30 days, you disrupt it by picking up that zoa rock, start that counter again at 0. And
That's crazy.
If you took the zoa rock and just moved it around once a week, every week, chances are you will never grow another zoa again just by picking it up and turning it around, because it will start the clock again. Now, that's obviously not all that scientific, and I'm sure someone out there with lab conditions will prove that you can still grow a zoa polyp by moving the rock. However, from my real world experience, the less you touch the tank, the better it's going to be.
That's a good one, because me trying to set up all these corals originally, I'm trying to make it look nice and get it everything to be able to be easily seen, easily displayed, and also not clashing colours and that. So I have moved them around a lot. I'm pretty happy with how everything is now. So I'll leave these out of there, I suppose.
Well, I mean, the good example was you sent me a picture of the Trachophilia coral over the back, and you're like, oh, it's huge now. Should I move it higher in light? I'm like, no, man, it's huge because it's happy.
Yes.
So let's leave him be.
No,
when it's all
perfect.
shrunken in and you can see skeleton hanging out or whatever, okay, we've got to intervene because something's going to happen if we don't move it. But if it's fat and happy, kicking goals, leave it do its thing.
That's perfect. Thank you very much for your 5 tips. Thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't checked out Parkers Reef, I'll put a link below and a card above and do all that fun stuff. So definitely check it out, especially if you're thinking about getting into saltwater like I did. Sam was the man that I first thought of to hold my hand through this journey.
And if you are interested in getting into saltwater, I've got a series on my YouTube channel there called the Idiot Proof Reef Tank, which is set out to prove that you don't need a PhD to run one of these tanks, and you don't need every gadget under the sun. We've tried to keep that tank as simple to maintain, simple to set up, and relatively cost effective. It's definitely not the cheapest reef tank, but it's been set up to be the easiest reef tank. And every purchase or addition we've made to that tank as we go, I've explained some of the cheaper options and some of the more expensive options and the pros and cons of going one way or the other.
That's perfect. I've been watching it as well. Binge watching it. Alrighty. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember, if you get new fish, always acclimate them first. I'm Josh from Aqua. I'll see you guys real soon with a new update on this tank.
What a wonderful world.